Hi, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Ask a NaviGuide, which is part of the Abundant Aging podcast series brought to you by United Church Homes. I'm Mike, your host, and on this show, we tackle subjects in aging and family caregiving that can be stressful to work through. And we do this with tips and advice from our NaviGuide team. Our NaviGuides collectively have decades of experience helping families work through stressful issues in aging. And we hope that the tips that we can share here can help you and can help everybody age with abundance. So we're lucky to have our NaviGuide, Barbara, with us today. And today we're going to talk about family caregiving, but managing you as a family caregiver. But before we get started, we're going to read the statement. The opinions shared in this podcast are those of our amazing NaviGuides and are not meant to convey, oh, by the way, our amazing NaviGuides and our host, and are not meant to convey nor take the place of clinical, legal, or other professional advice. With all that being said, hello, Barbara.
Hello, Michael. Glad to be here.
Great to see you. So, Barbara, you're a NaviGuide with United Church Homes. Can you explain a little bit about what a NaviGuide does and how you found yourself in the role?
Well, I've been a NaviGuide coordinator for 9 years. I enjoy helping people, which is exactly what I do. It's a very rewarding and challenging career, and I absolutely love it.
You are being modest, Barbara. You have, I think, over 80 residents in 2 buildings, 2 counties you take care of. We're taking care of people in our homes. You're navigating people through insurance issues, medical issues, community resources, being just a voice to listen to and just kind of keeping people, doing more what they want to do, right? I mean, that's a lot. And I think every day is probably different.
Absolutely. And that is the pure joy of it. I don't get bored. Never. And it's also, yesterday, for example, I was an attorney, and I
Well, you're not, wait. You're not actually an attorney.
no. But I composed a letter to a law firm. They were trying to garnish one of my residents' wages because of a repoed vehicle, and they're not allowed to do that. Social Security is a protected income. So I get to dabble in all kinds of things.
Well, you're like the Swiss Army knife of aging, which is awesome. But this show, we want to really kind of talk to listeners that are family caregivers. And I know typically, as we age and as our needs, for support, maybe our spouses are our first caregivers. But there may be situations where others have to step in and maybe support the needs of a loved one. Who typically are those people? I mean, caregivers can be anybody. I mean, I know that Gen Z makes up a good percentage of caregivers, but I don't know what sort of people have you seen as a family or a friend caregiver?
Well, through my experience, it really does not matter how many siblings you have. There's usually just one that steps up to be the caregiver. The others kind of help to make that person have a little bit easier of a job, because caregiving is a stressful, physical, a mental, emotional job, and you can get burned out quite quickly. Right. And there are a few suggestions that I have if you are going to be a 24/7 care provider, and that would be to look into respite care, adult daycare, just to give yourself a break, because I do believe it's a well-known fact that usually the caregiver passes before the person that is they're providing the care for. A lot of times that happens because they just get so worn down, and people don't even think about the caregiver. Oh, well, they're doing okay. You can look into, if you are affiliated with a church, maybe they have friends of your loved ones that'll come in and sit with the person so you can take a long shower or go shopping or go home and tend to your own needs. Maybe other siblings that don't want to provide care but will come in and have movie night. with the loved one, or watch a sporting event with them. Sit there a couple hours with them so you can go off and just have some peaceful time, clear your head, so you can provide better care.
Right. Right. But I guess for some, or maybe even for many, it's like, okay, gosh, everyone just naturally expects me to take on this role as caregiver. Like I'm the chosen one, suddenly. Um, I mean, how should people think of themselves when they when they have that? I mean, yeah, you're the chosen one, but you're the chosen one for a reason. I don't know.
Well, I was the chosen one, so to speak. I embraced it. I felt that now this is just from me, I felt privileged to take care of my mom and dad. I wanted to. My father, I was able to take care of him at home, and he didn't have to go to a nursing home, but he didn't have cognition issues. He had physical issues. And then my mother, I was unable to keep her at home. I did for quite a while, but I say embrace it, have fun with it. Even if your loved one has cognition problems, they change with them. And you might find a very enjoyable change. In my mother, it was. She was always kind of cantankerous and argumentative. And in her dementia, she got more loving and caring. She didn't express it verbally, but she wanted to hold your hand. She wanted to hug you, which she never did before dementia. And she also never liked seafood, but loved shrimp fried rice when she had dementia.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, so there is an opportunity there to get to know someone that you really didn't know, but it's still your mother. It's still your loved one.
That's a great perspective because, if you are that chosen one, it's almost like, well, out of every conceivable person that's available to support this person at need, you're the one that people have the most trust in. You're the one that people have the most feel the most capable. And I even guess with that, like other people maybe feel guilty about not wanting to help. Like I'm living across the country, or I wish I was closer, or I can't unwind my life and all that, but they want to help. So, but you should look for opportunities they can help, right? Even if you're at a distance.
They absolutely can. They can help monetarily, number one.
Sure, absolutely.
And that, money always makes things run smoother, and they can FaceTime.
Yes.
They can just call on the telephone, or maybe they can schedule their vacations with their loved one, or a long weekend or so. And then that gives the number one chosen one a little time off, or they can all spend time together as a family again.
I guess managing expectations is going to be important, right? I mean, if you have an estranged brother or something like that, and suddenly mom's at need, don't hold grand aspirations in your head that suddenly this is the thing that's going to call your brother to action and suddenly be there. I mean, families are complicated.
That's absolutely true too, because my sister washed her hands of my mother, and she had her own reasons, and I was okay with that. I understood it. I understood it completely, and I also understood that my son's an MMA fighter, but he was.
Wait, what? Your son is a mixed martial arts fighter.
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome.
But yet he was afraid to go to the memory care unit and see my mother. He was afraid of those little old people because he went there once and they grabbed him, and not in a bad way, but in an emotional way. And I'm like, really? You go in a ring but yet this little old lady terrifies you.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's yeah.
But I didn't hold it against him. I did try to educate him, and eventually he came around, especially when I was able to take mom outside, where it wasn't her that upset him, it was the others in the unit,
Okay. Yeah.
and so we worked around it.
Yes. You know, what I love what you've talked about so far is this idea of respite. I mean, I think that's what a lot of caregivers need, just to have time away where they're not thinking about caregiving, and that doesn't mean going to work. You know? So recognize that work is not respite from family caregiving, but other things that can help caregivers. I'm thinking of all the different stresses that might be on a caregiver. I think one that I'm thinking of first is physical stress. So you're moving somebody around, you have to kind of like support somebody. But there's a world of supportive devices out there. There's canes, walkers, clothes hooks. Would you agree that, getting people to do more things through themselves, that's kind of a first step to taking burden off of you? Because people like to do stuff for themselves, right? They don't just want somebody to help them all of the time.
Absolutely. I think most people want to be independent. And that is our role as a NaviGuide, is to keep people independent. That is our main goal, to keep people out of a nursing facility, hospital, emergency room. We want to put in place the durable medical equipment, like the grab bars in the shower chair, so that they can sit down in that shower. And this also deals with the privacy and dignity. They're safe sitting in that shower chair, so I'm just going to have a seat over here on the toilet to make sure you're okay.
Mm-hmm.
And, because you do have to be respectful of privacy, and you don't want to embarrass anyone. And,
Right.
yeah. So yeah, the durable medical equipment gives life to independent living. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And then it's also there's also I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to pick someone up. I don't know how. So education and telling people what to expect is kind of important, right?
Absolutely. Education. There's techniques for everything. Techniques for helping someone off of the floor so you don't hurt them. I mean, you just don't, they're not like a baby where you can just pick them up under their shoulders. You need to, you need to learn how to use a gait belt. And you can learn all of these things through Area Agency on Aging. You can take a course. You could check into your local hospital and find out if they give trainings on what to expect when we take mom home. Education is, just like I said about my son, I found a way around it so he could still visit his grandmother and not be afraid. And, all kind education's the key to everything.
Right, right. And if let's say I know a lot of people find themselves in this situation because of a hospitalization, and your loved one might be in a skilled nursing facility, they might be discharged. If you feel like you have not gotten adequate training on how to manage the needs of your loved one once they're home, you've got to be your own advocate, right? You've got to really, because they're supposed to do that, I think.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Now, when my father was discharged, he had esophagus cancer. So he had a trach. So he came home. We had home health all set up, had a wonderful gal there. I went upstairs to use the bathroom, and the aide, I saw her getting in her car. And I said, well, what happened, Dad? I mean, oh, well, I just told her we no longer needed her, that you would take care of me. And I, I was shocked. And because I had to, stick a tube in his trach and clean I had the hospital gave me one 5-minute lesson. But my father was completely in a good mental state. He knew exactly what was going on. And between the two of us, we did our own thing and were able to do it and have no problem. But there again,
That must have been shocker.
I was floored. I was like, "You did what, Dad?" But
And why did the home health aide leave? Why didn't they talk to you? I mean, that's just kind of funny to me.
well, they take their orders from the patient, and the patient has rights. They can, they can refuse help. They can refuse to take a shower. They can, and you have to respect that. And I did not have any blame on this person. I was just like, well, okay, Dad. Well, let's. We started at ground zero, and we made it. So.
Yeah.
And I think it was that he did not feel comfortable with a stranger.
Right. Right. So that's another great insight. It's just that they're more comfortable with people they know. Some people, many people. Yeah. Hey, one quick thing before we break, though, just on that point about education, we had talked, I think, in an early episode about that teach back method. So could you just talk about that a little bit? So if you're seeing a demonstration or a nurse is telling you how to do something, what is that teach back method?
Well, for example, if a doctor or the nurse is instructing you on how to do a procedure, and I just always say, okay, this is what I'm hearing or learning. Is this the absolute correct way? Am I doing this the proper way? And it's just a learning process. And right. I have always found that people are so willing to help you and teach you if you just ask.
Oh, and the other thing too that I found is that, if somebody's talking about medical terms, for whatever reason, I never stop to say, no, I don't know what that word means, but now I feel more confident doing it. Like, what does the word renal mean? Or, so you've told me this, and this is what I understand this, and this is what this means. Or because medical terminology can be, I don't know. I just could be bonkers sometimes.
It's a different language. And yeah. Also so many people, and I'm guilty of this myself, abbreviate an initial. We are now in the word of, like AL. What does AL mean to you? To me, it means assisted living.
And to me, it means a guy's name.
Yeah, exactly. So that for someone like my sister, I would say, well, maybe they would be a candidate for AL. And she would be like, AL? What in the world? But medical people know that, and they don't at all get offended by you asking, wait a minute here, I don't know what that means. Could you just explain that further to me? And I have never had anyone say to me, you are the stupidest person on earth for not knowing that. And they usually say, no, I'll be glad to explain it to you.
That's awesome. Well, look, I think that's a great place to end it. And I wanted to thank you, Barbara, for being our guest today. And I want to thank you, our listener, for checking out this episode of Ask a NaviGuide, which is part of the Abundant Aging podcast series brought to you by United Church Homes. If you like this week's show, please like, share, and subscribe. We have a YouTube channel, surprise, surprise, United Church Homes. And we also have all of our podcasts on our podcast site, which is abundantagingpodcast.com. There's actually a response form there. So if you like what you heard on the show, let us know. If you don't, let us know. If you've got ideas, tips, show ideas even, please put them in the comments. Send them over to us. We'd love to hear from you. For more information about the UCH NaviGuide program, acronyms, United Church Homes NaviGuide program, please visit www.uchnaviguide.org. And for more information about United Church Homes itself, visit unitedchurchhomes.org. Again, thanks for listening. We will see you next time.